Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of BWF Solicitors regular video update. This afternoon, we've been looking at the case of CI and the interpretation of what it means to cancel somebody's indefinite leave to remain whilst they're outside the UK. And upon reflection on that case, we've asked the question, if you could lose your indefinite leave to remain and some of the ways in which you could lose that indefinite leave to remain. So the CI case concerned an Iranian national who was granted indefinite leave to remain back in 2017 and left the UK to go to Iran. Whilst he was in Iran, his indefinite leave to remain was cancelled by the Home Secretary and was barred from coming into the UK. CI found his way by going on a boat to get to the UK and was detained. He appealed against his detention, and the case went to the administrative court for judicial review. Now, the decision of the court at the time was that indeed the Home Office was wrong to cancel his indefinite leave to remain, and they were wrong as well to detain him, as the applicable law did not apply to him. Instead, it was only applicable to people who had leave to remain, i.e. limited leave to remain. Now, the Home Office appealed against this decision, and then it went to the Court of Appeal. The Court of Appeal is handed its determination, and that has just come through just this week. And what they're saying is that the administrative court were wrong in their interpretation of the law, as the law itself did not specifically mention limited leave to remain or indefinite leave to remain. To that respect, that law captures people who have indefinite leave to remain, and as well as people who have limited leave to remain. So we've asked the question, could you lose your indefinite leave to remain, and why? Now, the answer is emphatically yes. And some of the reasons or some of the ways in which you could lose your indefinite leave to remain we've seen included in the typical example of CI, issues to do with national security that could basically cause you to lose your indefinite leave to remain. The other thing is if, say, for instance, you were deported from the UK, again, you could lose your indefinite leave to remain. However, if you say you had a refugee status, or you were someone who was here under humanitarian grounds, then of course it will breach the UK's obligation under international law, and so they would not be able to deport you, but then they'll be able to still cancel your indefinite leave to remain. The other one that we also discussed was the fact that if you leave outside the UK for a period of more than 2 years, you could lose your indefinite leave to remain. However, if you were such a person, you could make an application to return back to the UK as a returning resident. However, you have to demonstrate that you're somebody who, as at the time that you left the UK, you were a holder of an indefinite leave to remain status. And so you could make an application to return back. Now, you would have to give reasons why that you lived outside the UK for a period of over 2 years. And some of the reasons that you probably could give, we've discussed, included the fact that you probably got unwell, and so for health reasons you had to stay outside the UK. COVID could be one of them, or maybe you were looking after a family member who was unwell, or you traveled outside and spent over 2.5 or over 2 years because you were there on a mission as a government worker, or you went there with a partner who is a government worker, i.e. in the military or doing home office work or things like that. That you could give explanation and then you'll be able to return back to the UK as a returning resident. Now, we've also seen that there are times when people live outside the UK, even though they got indefinite leave to remain, and then they come in for a short stay, which normally will reset the 2-year period that you would have to live outside to get your indefinite leave to cancel, and then they go back again. Now, we've said that if you're somebody who does that, you need to bear in mind that when you get to the port, the border agency staff members could assess you to find out whether or not you're using this place as a visiting grounds, but then don't ordinarily stay here in the UK. So you go, stay outside, and then you come back in to reset and go back. If you're found to be such a person, your leave could be cancelled at the border and you'll be returned back to your home country. Now, we've said that the rules also apply equally to EU family members and EU nationals as well. So we know since we live in the European Union, EU nationals and their family members are required to make an application under Appendix EU for EU settlement, either limited leave to remain or indefinite leave to remain. Now, if you have limited leave to remain, if you stay outside the UK for 2 years and more, your leave could be cancelled as well. Unless otherwise, you could demonstrate that there was something beyond your control, i.e. you were unwell, and so you went for medical reasons, or say, for instance, you went for childbirth and other things like that. However, if you have settled status or indefinite leave to remain, the number of years that you could stay outside for is 5 years. If you stay beyond 5 years, then your leave can be cancelled as well. So we need to take note that yes, even though your indefinite leave to remain has no restriction and you can go back and forth into the UK, you need to bear in mind that there are circumstances and instances where your indefinite leave to remain could be cancelled. So we need to take note of this and make sure that each time we're coming and going out, we'll be able to show, if we've stayed for over 2 years, that there are reasons for us staying outside the UK for over 2 years. We thank you all for tuning in. We hope to be back with you again on the same platform, Community and the Law, same time next weekend. Have a very good week. Thank you.